Hey everyone, in this video let's take a look at directives in Vue 3. Vue comes with a bunch of built-in directives which we will use a lot. So what is a directive? Directive is a special DOM attribute. According to the documentation, a directive's job is to reactively apply side effects to the DOM when the value of its expression changes. Simply put, directives will change the DOM based on some expression. Reactively. Yes, reactively. A directive may be made up of 5 parts: prefix, name, argument, modifier, and expression. It doesn't have to have all the 5 parts, but at a minimum it should have the prefix and the name. All directives must start with v dash, and then next to it is the name of the directive. Let's first take a look at a directive with just the v dash and its name. So one of the examples would be the v1's directive. So this has the v dash prefix and the name of the directive. This doesn't have any arguments or expressions. I'm gonna create a variable called counter 1, and then I'm gonna use the curly braces, and in the mounted let's do a set interval. This would be the callback function. Execute this every second, and I'm going to increment the counter by 1. Now what v1's does is it will stop the DOM getting updated after the initial update. So let's just save this and take a look at the browser. You can see that it's just 1. So just to confirm, let's just console log this. So now we can see in the logs that the counter is incrementing, but it's not getting updated in the DOM. Let's remove this directive, v1's directive, save, and now we can see that the DOM is getting updated. Let's have a look at a directive that expects a single expression. Instead of v1's, let's change this to vShow. vShow expects a single expression. Is visible, and let's just define it in our local state. Let's give the initial value as false. Now save this, head to the browser. Now we can't see that element on the page, and if we inspect this, we can see that this div has a style display none. So that's what vShow does. Based on this expression, it adds or removes the display style. Let's assign true to is visible and see what happens. Now it has removed that style. display none has been removed, and we can see the value in the DOM. Now let's take a look at an example directive that uses an argument and an expression. We can use vbind. So v is the prefix, bind is the name of the directive, and let's just give an argument. Let's give id as the argument and give an expression. So we can see all 5 parts in action here. Let's just save, head over to the browser. Now we can see that vbind has an attribute id and assigned the myCounter as the value. We will be using a lot of vbind attribute vshow. In fact, most of the inbuilt directives in Vue will be used a lot. Now let's see how a modifier is used. For this I'm gonna use vModel directive. First I'm gonna add an input element. I'm gonna define the vModel. Now we need a backing variable. First name, and I'm gonna set the initial value to undefined. Save. On the browser we have our input. Now when we start typing, we will see the change to the backing variable straight away. As we type, the backing variable gets updated, hence the DOM gets updated. Now I can use a modifier to say that I don't want to aggressively change the first name variable every time I input. Instead, I want to update first name variable only when there's a change. Let's save this. So lazy is the modifier. Let's save this and have a look. Now if I start typing, I won't straight away see the changes happening to the DOM. But if I tab out of the input, it will fire off the blur event, and then we can see the change to the backing variable first name, and then that change is updated on the DOM. So that's the basic idea of directives. We will dive deep into different directives in future videos. See you then.